Shit,
Oh my god!
Shit!
I'm done.
In a time long, long ago,
2013.
7 Days to Die was first released, and this was the year that the great Nelson Mandela died. Paul Walker, the actor, was killed in a car crash, and Justin Bieber was seen leaving a Brazilian brothel, and of course, the Pope joined Twitter. Hashtag Pope Goes Rogue. Since then, countless games have been born, raised and died, some a natural birth and a not-so-natural death. Now, closing in on a decade old, 7 Days to Die still lives and in fact seems to have prospered and grown like some anime infant, and has arguably etched its name onto the granite slab of gaming immortality. But why? And I will answer that very shortly, but right now I put together a pretty epic cinematic which you can skip by clicking on the time in front of you. Hang around, I'll answer all your questions shortly. Let's get into it. Right now, I'm going to look at some of the factors as to why this game stands out, and if you're wondering if you should buy it, these will be reasons as to why you should probably drop some money on it, but I will try and balance the praise with looking at some things that need improvement. Now, what I mean by the real engine behind the game, I do not mean the software engine. What I mean is the development team. Namely the team at Fun Pimps, and they have been quoted as saying this about 7 Days to Die. This game has become our passion, and we still aim to make it hands down the best damn zombie game ever made. Now, truthfully, the effort this team has put in over the years and continues to do so has simply been staggering. Their dedication to this title has been almost unparalleled. They live and breathe this game, and this extraordinary commitment has led to a game that is finely tuned like a Supermarine Spitfire Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. The dev team hails from Texas and has acquired a genuine following in game terms anyway. And since the alpha release of 7 Days to Die, there have been multiple major updates containing features such as new biomes, new and extensive forging systems, new weapons and weapon tiers, major graphical changes, all sorts of things. Now, I've had 7 Days to Die for about 6 years, and I have jumped in and out of the game through those years, and I've always been amazed by two things: the continuous expansion and the pursuit of excellence in game mechanic refinement. And as of this month, there is no sign of this stopping. After so many years, 7 Days to Die is still early access, which, let's be honest, is a little cheeky. But it does show that they have not yet implemented their vision fully, which is kind of when a game comes out of early access. It is widely published that 7 Days has sold over 13 million copies, so in no uncertain terms this is a beast of a game, and in fact, I kid you not, the player base has grown steadily since its release, and just the other week had 70,000 players online in one day. It has been listed as one of the top 100 PC games of all time, and reviews of it are overwhelmingly positive, though it does get some flack for being in early access way too long, which is something they have to wear, I think. Now, I'll cover off some of the key game mechanics shortly, but I wanted to start off with, upfront, why does it all work? Having thought about this for a bit, I've broken it down into you have a sense of purpose, and along with this is game agility. Meaning that when you play, whether it be for 10 hours or 500 hours, each time I played I had a real purpose. It may have been to get to safety, build a push bike, get to level 100, find all the books, to explore all the map, or to build the best horde base. And best of all, as you can see from that list I just told you about, the purpose can change as the game is in fact really agile. Putting aside the numerous game settings you can tweak for really different experiences, there are numerous zombies that scale in difficulty, numerous weapons, numerous ways to build a base to fight a horde, and in fact numerous ways just quite simply to play the game. The terrain is voxel based and fully destructible. The building mechanic is extensive but simple. You can dig into the middle of a mountain if you want, build a soaring castle, build a staircase into the heavens, build a maze and stuff it full of traps, or simply build a house and make it look like, well, you can make it look like whatever you want. Then when you are not fighting hordes, there are other things you can do. You can explore the wilderness, explore massive buildings, explore abandoned cities. You can hunt for treasure, go clear out zombies for rewards. And if you are inquisitive and busy, there is so much to do in between the hordes. And of course, if you dare, there are some insane mods that will rip you out of your comfort zone and throw you deep down into that hole of despair. Yes, the graphics are a bit dated, the servers can be a bit laggy, particularly in vehicles. The maps often have glitchy bits to them, but it all works. And how do you know if it works? Well, you keep coming back to it. That's how 7 Days is a game that always lingers. And when you're not playing it, it sits there reminding you of those good old days. It just keeps luring you back. There are several key mechanics to 7 Days to Die, and for me these are your character, the biomes, the weapon systems, the building, the day-night cycle, and of course the hordes. Now, to cover off all these in detail would take a really long time, and I do want to keep this video relatively shortish, so I'm just going to summarize them. In 7 Days, your character can be customized and boosted in a multiple of ways. Think of it almost like layers. You have your basic clothing and armor. Each has its pluses and minuses. Then you have the mods that you can apply to them. Think of those as like upgrades. The better the quality of clothing or armor, the more modifications you can make. Next is the levels you gain on your person and the spending of those points into skills. These are in categories and then specifics within each category. Each point you spend in a category will give you general boosts in that area, and the more you spend there, the more it opens up the specifics within them, allowing a more refined skill set to be obtained. Then as a bonus on top of all that, you can find books and schematics that work as quite a separate thing, but really give you good boosts as well. And finally, of course, there is the various foods and drinks and drugs that you can find or create to further boost yourself temporarily. Now, when I lay it out like that to the person who hasn't played it may sound complicated, but here is the thing, it really isn't. It all works extraordinarily well, with each thing complementing the other, and being quite simple to pick up and implement. Most importantly, when I was doing skills, it was not just to click anything when I leveled up. I thought about it. I wanted my character to get better in certain areas. I controlled my character's development. Is it perfect? Of course not, but this system is one of those games that many others have copied and not implemented nearly as well, I think. Years of refinement and development team dedication have really paid off here. There are currently 5 biomes in 7 Days to Die: the forest, the desert, the snowy forest, the burnt forest, and the wasteland. In 7 Days to Die, you will generally start in the forest biome, or at least close to it, if you are playing on the default map, that is, and you can, of course, procedurally generate some brand new map for a total exploration challenge or change. But the biomes all have a very distinct feel to them, and the transitions between them are fluid and they feel good. And generally speaking, the forest biome is the easiest to survive in, with lesser zombies being more common, and if you can find a town or houses, they will for the most part be intact, allowing for pretty extensive looting and using as a temporary base. Each biome does feel very different, and they become like invisible barriers early in the game, where you may do temporary raids into those harder biomes, but you understand that staying in them could be pretty difficult. Therefore, they become these elusive areas which hang dark and unexplored. And when you do explore them early on, it's often with a drive-through or a quick foray into a building. As you will learn, the zombies in those biomes can be pretty tough. You will also learn that some biomes have more abundant resources of particular types, and these you will need to eventually exploit to further progress in the game. For me, the different biomes in 7 Days have real meaning. They set up a mindset when you play the game of you want to explore, you need to explore, but the unexplored areas always lure you. They draw you further into the darkness. Now, the weapons system in 7 Days is pretty diverse, with bows, composite bows, crossbows, spears, stun batons, pistols, magnums, various assault rifles, hunting and sniper rifles, a variety of shotguns, and quite a few others. At its baseline, the weapons work fine. The sounds are good, the loading animations are nice, and they look pretty good for an old game, and they work correctly with accuracy, spread, rate of fire, all done pretty well for each different type of weapon. But what really elevates the weapon system, not surprisingly, is the modding aspect. Honestly, when you found or made yourself a top tier assault rifle, for example, and you've got it to the level where you can have 4 or 5 mods, and you've attached those to your weapon, it becomes much more useful, and in turn, most importantly, it becomes genuinely precious to you. You don't want to lose it, and that is really important in a game, because in fact that's how weapon systems should be. They should be upgradable, and when you get them, you don't want to lose them, and 7 Days does that very well. The game is voxel based, and as such the terrain is fully destructible, and in turn you can build all sorts of things in the game. The basics of the building system are easy to use. However, like any well thought out game, the system is there to be able to make some pretty amazing structures. Then, like almost everything in this game, you layer up on top of that electrical systems over the top, and the ability to put down a myriad of traps and automatic weapon systems, and it gets pretty thorough as well. Now, I'm a useless builder in games, I don't have the patience for it, but even I try different things out. Drop pits, blade traps, dart traps, electric fences, along with various pathfinding traps when the hordes come. I really like the way the building system works in 7 Days. It's well put together and well thought out. 7 Days for me was one of the first games to really make you fear the night. When the clock hits 2200 hours, that is 10 PM, you get a small audible warning that the game has just changed. Those zombies that were docile and easy during the day are now really hard, and they really run at you. Such is the turning point at these moments, it is pretty common to spend those night hours, particularly early in the game, cozied up in your base, not making too much noise, not going out, quietly beavering away, making things, reorganizing things, hiding until day dawns. Now, if you play on a server that wants to be a little more hardcore, you can even tweak things so the zombie speeds can be even faster, and it turns into a truly lethal game. It's all very well done. Now, before I get into the main horde aspect of the game, I should note that there are of course wandering hordes. At any time, any place, you can be doing whatever you're doing, then almost always you hear some sort of a shuffling or zombie sound close by. You look out and you see a wandering horde meandering towards you. These of course are not like horde nights, but they add a great surprise element. So what are the hordes like? Well, the first thing is that they're very scalable depending on the number of players on, and the level, or more accurately the game level those players are at. Early hordes are just regular zombies, moving fast, but later hordes will see venom-spitting zombies, vultures, radiated zombies, feral zombies, and of course the eventual dreaded bomber zombie. Now the pathfinding of the zombies is always at you, so where you stand and what you have around you is critical. This encourages really good horde-based design. It encourages thought and creativity. And as the hordes get bigger and tougher, you will generally require more and more ammunition, so you will be encouraged to start manufacturing it or searching for higher tier loot. Honestly, without a word of exaggeration, the hordes can be epic fun. They can be a relentless onslaught where you fight for your survival. It is a beautifully crafted thing which many other games have copied. Now, I could talk a lot more about 7 Days to Die, but why has it lasted so long? Why has it prospered? Well, it is due to it having an extraordinarily dedicated development team who have endlessly pushed for refinement of the game and its general mechanics. Lots of other zombie games out there have far better graphics, better stories, but very few, and in fact I'd say none, keep drawing the player back like 7 Days does. And when it comes to it, that is why the game has prospered, which is through word of mouth. People like it, they like playing it, they want to play it with their friends, and so more people are encouraged into this zombie apocalypse game. And strangely enough, I don't actually see that stopping. So even in 2022, nearly 10 years on, I still see its popularity growing. And last but not least, thanks for watching. If you've got this far, you're a legend. Maybe consider subscribing and liking the video, always appreciated, and check out some of my other videos. I do a lot of reviews and maybe you'll like some of those. See you in the next chapter.